guess we can now start. So recording is on. Stop now. The recording. Oh yeah, the recording is on. So should be fine. In case you want to take a look on the session afterwards. And okay, so I guess we can start. So today we're going to continue talking about the project work. So as you remember, yesterday we created a database for our work, and also we created this navigation bar where we can navigate to the pages. And before we start today, I want to mention two things. The second one will be just one small adjustment on what we did today, or tomorrow. Yesterday, sorry. What we did yesterday, and one more thing for you, which may be quite useful. You can if you want to build some pages. I mean, when you work on your project, you can take a look on some web examples. For example, you can go to Bootstrap examples. I'll show the link here, for example, and here you can find some demo codes for some templates, and maybe not only from Bootstrap. You can actually find lots of web templates. Let's say page template download, for example, and you'll find lots of free examples. So you can, if you want to find some nice designs, you can search through them on the internet, and then you will see the just for example, let's take one of the pages. You'll find lots of such examples, so just to make your page better. And here you'll find you usually find some CSS, JavaScript, and HTML code. So of course they should open this one, but let's open it. Maybe let's extract it, and we'll show you what we can do with that. So let me extract it, and here we can basically see the whole example. Here you will find the so I just opened it now, but of course you should only use the editor. And here you can find the HTML structure used, the relations, style relations used, all the styles, some examples. So is Bootstrap used? Yeah, Bootstrap is used here. Some fonts, yeah, Bootstrap is used here. So you can find lots of different examples, and actually you can also base your solution on such examples. That can be fine as well. So since there's this one more, you can also improvise on the design. That will be fine as well. Maybe sometimes you'll find some for some HTMLs, maybe one small remark here. In different HTML sources or the templates to generate HTML, you will find some things related to Internet Explorer, or I guess these are not quite. I don't have maybe lots of knowledge about the differences between different browsers, where the HTML can be processed. I'm maybe not so familiar about the specifics, but Normally for such browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Opera, maybe also Microsoft Edge, I guess. For such browsers, everything should be fine. Only from my experience for Internet Explorer, maybe some crazy things, but for such cases there are some special tags sometimes used in different HTML pages. So in our work and also in practice now, I guess you now can skip them because, as you know, that Microsoft already said that they will turn off. I guess I'm not sure they stop supporting, but I guess they will totally turn off Internet Explorers next year. And maybe if you have better, more precise information, you may let us know. But basically Microsoft wants, the key idea is that Microsoft wants us and everyone to stop using Internet Explorer. That's why maybe for Internet Explorer we should not really care about anymore. So for other stuff, again, you can take some examples, then you can open it, for example. You can see some loadings, some test patterns, fonts, icons. For icons, I suggest you to use, maybe we will, but most likely we will also take a look on some examples. But the icons, at least what I usually use, are taken from this font Awesome. Lots of icons are taken from there, and if you want to take a look on it, so that will be font Awesome. Usually search for some icons to find it, and here I will also give you the link, so you can take a look on them, and here you can search for some icons. Let's say, for example, drinks. We'll see some icons for drinks, some bridges. No, it's interesting. No bridges here. Okay. Some tower. Some towers. Basically, I can search for many different icons here, and the idea will be simple, that you install these font also, this font Awesome package on your project, or you can also, just the same as for Bootstrap, you may also just use the link, I guess, for this one, like here. You can see the link to this font Awesome CSS. That's fine as well. This is open source, so there are no restrictions of using it, so you can include it in your project. So you can just search for an example and use it. That will be fine as well. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, as I mentioned yesterday, it's better. What's the problem we face now? This one. What's the problem we face now is that we want the part of this of our HTML document for JSP page basically to be included into other JSP files. Of course, maybe it's not the best idea to actually copy paste this section every time, especially if you want to add something. Then of course you need to then add it to all the files you use this logic. Of course, that's maybe not the best idea. The same as for for your Java code when you write the classes, the programs. It's always better to not repeat the same things several times. It's always better to just have one common place where the logic can be placed, and you then reuse it in all other places. So same is here, and for in lots of HTML, lots of web frameworks, you will find some solutions for this, and they are called fragments. Yeah, so you have some page fragments which can be included into other pages. Yeah, the same as we can include scripts this way using the source, same way as we can include CSS files. Basically what we do, we actually no, in this case that would work differently, but the idea is that we include we make all the details from all the elements from these classes, these CSS classes or JavaScript classes available, JavaScript files available in our web page. And for page fragments, this will work similar way. With one not exception, but with one difference that the content from these files will be directly included into the page. So it means that, let's say, we can take these lines and I will maybe copy them, and then I will create GSP file, one more, and we can say that this will be header template. This should be fine. Maybe sometimes there, I guess I think we can use dashes for the files and for GSP files. So, and here I just basically use just paste these lines. So here I can export them, and what can I do? I can simply include this GSP template to this index file. So this will look this way. So again, I use the tag, and here we have GSP, and I want to include it. Okay, so we have such tag. So it's all will be here. I don't need any element in between. So I need to provide the page here. Page will be header template. GSP, and the result should be the same. Maybe just to be more precise, let's restart the server. Because again, if you don't restart the server, sometimes you may not see new files available. But again, it's always better to restart such cases. So let's go to our browser. Let's refresh. The result should be the same. Yeah, the result is the same. Nothing is broken. So what does it mean? It means that we can encode this fragment to our library page style. So now I will. Here, sorry, here we have this library GSP. So I can encode it here to not just repeat. So we start with blank and finish restart. In fact, we can also paste metadata here as well. Basically, it's not prohibited because everything from here will be just directly included into these pages. So the metadata is excluded from here as well, and I guess I can do the same for for the navigation bar. One moment, I'm not really sure if I can. Moment, so we can try some things. If it doesn't work, then we'll do it maybe in different ways. So let's maybe do it. Try to, because the problem is that I'm bored if we have two bodies here. So maybe let's just quickly try. If we want to see here, then we will do it maybe a little bit differently. So in this case, I can remove this header tag because it's included there. And so let's see. This one. So let's see. In this case, that should be fine. If we go here, okay, for the libraries it seems fine as well. So let's see, how does it look? Oh, no, it's fine, yeah. So the HTML is pretty clever. Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I was just a little bit worried that we'll have this duplicated text, but I guess no, everything is fine in this case. So it is really good. It is really good. It's actually, yeah, it's fantastic. And maybe we can also put this. In fact, we can maybe put the whole page here. I guess maybe let's quickly think. Yeah, maybe we can also. Let's say no. Let's just keep it as is. That will be fine. So yeah. So right now we don't need to repeat all the steps. I mean, we just have this one include, which will have all the main not data, but main definitions here, and also our body was this navigation bar, and basically it's at this point it can look a little bit strange, but the idea is that it is not just simply included like just copy paste way, because again you can see that let's do this example where we have the body here and we actually have the body inside this file. Yeah, so in theory that would mean that we have this text, not this text, this content, and after that we have double bodies, but in HTML it's not possible. In HTML it's not possible to have duplicated bodies. So it is pretty clever that it just simply includes one body inside another one, and this is basically, you can see that one body element, which is navigation bar, is included into it's not included, but is joined. Yeah, it's joined with the container which comes from another file. Okay. And so in this case, it's pretty easy that we can navigate through the pages, and we keep this navigation bar. It's quite good, I guess, right? So this is done, and we have our main template. Maybe we will also work on the design a little bit later, but for now let's move on with the practical part. And yeah, one more thing, just to be sure, if you go to inspect element, sometimes it's better to check if there are no errors in console, because sometimes you may have some. Usually these are JavaScript errors, so sometimes maybe it's not included. Sometimes it's encoded in an incorrect way. Maybe the sequence of the includes needed to be changed. Needs to be changed, and so on. So sometimes it's better to take a look on console if nothing is wrong, and maybe also at the end. So there's such feature in Google Chrome that you go to the White House, and then you can generate the report on your site. In this case, I guess that should be fine because we haven't built much, but in case we have lots of stuff there, we may need to check if all the things are fine. So if performance, if there's something that can be improved. So here we have performance, accessibility, best practices. So if something is wrong, then we can check if something may be better. In this case, I guess nothing is specifically what we can improve. Okay, it says language attribute. We can add it if needed, but not sure if it's so important. Yeah, we can actually try to. Interesting. So it says that we can enter language attribute. So maybe this it's maybe not so important, but let's say that the language is English. So let's see what do we have. Now that should be fine, and we have this. Yeah, now we have this language attribute, but I guess in our case this changes nothing. Go to the next page. So this will be our home page. We will also improve it a little bit later from the design point of view. Now let's just practically work on the libraries. So let's then move on, and the next step, as I said yesterday, will be that we display all the libraries we already included. So again, the main logic to be done here in the servlet pages. So because this is our, let's say, backend. So here from here we generate the pages. So we get the main data from here. Yeah. So let's then do it. One thing maybe we will maybe improve or later a little bit. Is that maybe we will move some logic to separate classes just to structure it better. But at first, maybe let's make it work, and after that we will maybe see if we may improve the design of our code. Because then if we have lots of things here, and maybe if something can be reused, then it's maybe better to switch it to different classes. But let's see how it goes. For now, since we don't have much logic here, we can maybe skip this yet, but let's see how it goes. So now let's, as I said, let's select all the libraries, and again we'll do it from we'll not do it from to get method, because we will just simply redirect everything to post, and here I will create a new method. So the connection will be initialized, so that should be fine. And now we can now we can create the method which will get all the values and pass them to the request. So I will need request here. So again, everything what we have in request, this is what comes from the page to us, and we can also pass the values which will go to the page. So that should be fine. You can see that the server does some things. It means that it reloads different content there. Of course, once we save, it does some reloading. But again, maybe sometimes it's better to restart the server to be sure that all the information is up to date. So, and right here we again start with the first statement. So I prepare the statement, and in this case I don't need to prepare a statement because I will actually do the select. So I'm sorry, maybe let's do it a different way. I will start with the result set. So so here I will get the statement and just directly let's do it from here. So maybe not get statement, create statement, and I will execute query. The query will be simple. Select sunset, so this one is fine. So we select all the fields. We can actually, in fact, we can actually select one field since we don't need the IDs. We will select the name. So we go to libraries. Yeah, let's just select name. Maybe at this point we don't need external ID, just the name. So select name, table of libraries, and I guess that should be enough. Of course, need to try and catch here. So maybe again to be more precise, let's keep using exception, but we will use maybe more precise exception here, which is SQL exception. So in this case, it's actually there's no difference if we use SQL exception or if we use just simple exception, because this will return the same result. So maybe think about it. No, let's maybe keep SQL exception just to the logic that we talk about SQL exceptions here. Oh no, so there's one more exception. Once we found exception, so okay, let's maybe exception here. Okay, so that's fine. And so now we can create this set of. We can actually create a list of libraries. These strings. This will be the array list. Excuse me. The array list of strings, of course, and define the beginning just to point that. And yeah, sometimes, at least from my experience in the projects and in the languages I was working with, it's usually better to define the variables on the top. Yeah. Maybe in the middle. That's just sometimes it's just a better approach. Sometimes it's maybe required, but maybe not in our case. But but it may be. So now we have this result set we select from the database, and so let's then put the values to this all libraries list. So again, I will check once, so we will iterate through. So all libraries set. Next. Next, then I will simply add the elements to the collection. So the element will be name, or I can also do it this way, so this will be fine, or I can simply provide that this will be the name, so there's no difference. I'll use get string, of course. Oh, sorry, no, this one, all others result first. Yeah, the names are similar, that's why I'm a little bit confused. So now we have this list, and I can pass this list to the request, which will then come to the GSP page. So I will name it swap doing list. I prefer in this way. Maybe sometimes the namings are different, but since in Java we usually use this camel case, to be honest, I really like it. It's quite I like to use it because the main problem sometimes for the namings is, and I guess I will not explain to you, but you may already faced it some time, is that for the namings in programming we almost never use the spaces, as you may, as you could already notice, and yeah, this happens in lots of cases. Because sometimes the spaces are not accepted by some specific namings, especially if we need to split the names in some way, and so in this case the spaces are not the most secure way space is not the most secure way to use in such cases. And that's why, as we already know, we can use, for example, camel case. I prefer using it just to separate the words here, and yeah, also I like to use underscore. So that's also a nice option from my experience. In this case, since this is the string, we can use space as well. Again, yeah, yes, that should not be the problem, because this is the string, but again, I usually prefer using camel. And so now we will have this collection added, and then I can use it on the page. So again, I have this collection, and I will always call the method get all libraries. Maybe in this case we better call it set all libraries, because again, as I mentioned you once, if we have the method get, this usually means that we should return something, right? Just to not confuse ourselves and other developers, if we want to just simply set something, then it's better to actually name the method set if it does not return anything. Because again, usually we have get means that we expect something from the method to be returned. In this case, we have nothing, we have void, and so then we better use set method. Alright, so now we should have this correction here, so I'll not touch this header template now. And I can now add this this list here. So I will use HTML list approach. Or I can also use the table. In this case, let's maybe use the list. Use the list this way. Let's search for some nice pretty returns. Example bootstrap. Nice. Sometimes if we use bootstrap, then we should add some classes to our. Oh yeah, let me see. Yeah, yes, we can use so-called list group. So that will be, it comes from bootstrap. So I use list group, and so now we are ready to go through the collection. So first of all, I need to define this collection here, and so this will come from the request. So get attribute. So the attribute will be here, which is defined, and here's the name of the attribute, the list, and that's just the list form. So let's define the variable here. String. And also here, need to do the casting. Yeah, of course, needs to include the list, yes, because otherwise it will not see it. So, no, it's already included here, so it's fine. And yeah, let's do the casting here then. Oh yeah, of course, that's the need to define the variable. And maybe I prefer to do it before we start writing the page. And actually, we can maybe even keep using these tags. I guess in our case we don't need it, because we don't need them because they already come from this include. And so let's double check if maybe let's also restart the server to be sure that everything is up to date. So starting. It started. Let's see what we have now. Okay, something is wrong. Oh, that's about the USB, I guess. What expectation that we run from fulfilling the request, exception occurred at line 5. Okay, so we have the exception here, and so what's class cast exception. Okay, yeah, I got it. This is the same issue we have here. Of course, that's not correct. I just accidentally added this variable instead of all libraries. Now, yeah, sorry. Yeah, that was incorrect variable. Of course, that's my fault. Let's see now. Yeah, now everything is fine. Everything is fine, and we can see that this header tag comes from here, so we don't actually need to include it. In fact, we can maybe also include this tag as well into the template. So everything is here, and we don't need to have it. So in this case, we can actually we will, for the index page, we will change it a little bit later. So we will keep maybe we'll keep this HTML tag here now, but later we will maybe even more we can export this HTML tag. We will add the code a little bit later. Yeah, for now, so because everything will be reused and just reuse from this template we defined, and so then it's fine. So basically we just reuse the code written here in the header template. It will be reused in all the other GSPs we used, so it's quite a nice way from my point of view. We don't need to check tasks, but at this point, yeah, of course we can try catch, just escape the complaint here, but it should not happen. That's strange. I just okay, then we can maybe do it differently if we can say that. It's object. Sorry, I will spell out a bit. Okay, one moment. Okay, let's just do it this way. So if it's instance of list string, then it's Fragment. Now we actually skipped of course instance of list. Okay, it still complies. Okay, let's maybe just and maybe let's skip it because we are sure that this will be the array list of strings, because we just define it in the because we just define it from the server page, so it should always be string list, right? So since we define it here, so this logic will always be executed. So this is fine, and now let's define the list. So again, what we do, we use the GSP tags. Let's define the iterator, iterator strings. And now I just realized one thing. Excuse me, I just realized that we also need the IDs. Why we need the IDs? Because we will use our libraries to do some different things in our page. That's why let's also maybe do it a little bit differently. So instead of the list, let's use the map, because again I would like to have the IDs. Yes, we will needs to navigate in between the libraries. That's why it's better to have the IDs. So the ID is integer. So then I will use tree map. I can also use hash map. In this case, there should not be much differences. So find it here, and then I will add the put. I will use the put method, and then I will get integer here. And integer. Get int. Integer get int. And the name is ID. Just let's check the case. If it's an uppercase and lowercase, no, it's an uppercase, so it's fine. And now we'll have this all libraries, and now here we also need to do the changes, so this will be the map. So the map so let's call it, use the list here. And so the map is integer and string. So here once again do the casting. So we cast object to the map, so we do the downcasting. Here, and downcasting should always be marked as we do the casting here. So and here we will do the iteration through the entry. The entry is integer and string. So in this, in fact, we can also use for each, but maybe in this case it's easier to use the iterator. So let's define the iterator. What's the problem here? Oh, okay, this needs to, no, it's fine. And it equals to libraries. Come on. Okay, that would be entries. Entry set. And here we should have it like that. That's fine. So now I have the iterator defined, and I can go through all the entries. So I can say y has next. We can generate the item. So first I will add the polls in the tag here. And so here I can write this HTML code. So this will be li, should be the list, and this will be list group item class. This comes from Bootstrap. And here I will add the library name. Yeah, so let's first start with the library name, then I will adjust it a little bit later. So a moment, yeah, let's define the entry here. The entry, integer and string, so this is the entry from the map. And this will be the library, just one library. And it comes from the iterator as the next element. Right, and here we can use this tag, and please remember to use the equals sign, otherwise this will not be displayed again. So if we use without equals, without the equals sign, it means that we'll just simply do some Java stuff. If we use equals, it means that this will be displayed on the screen. So since now we want to display the name, get value. So let's see how it looks like. Okay, so now we have this list of libraries. What else we can do? And we can also maybe go through some design things. Yeah, in this case we have this list, but yeah, so this will work in this way that we have this. Let's say something with the second library. So, okay, entry is inserted. Oh, this is really interesting. If the entry is inserted, then it will not show here on the first. Yeah, so we found one issue, and this means that we should just switch these two. Yeah, because otherwise we will not see the latest entry, right? Because we inserted them. Because previously, how was it? We read all the entries, then we set new entry. And of course, then the new entry will not be available for us. But that's why we can say so it's second, not second as the end, third. Now it should be available here. So this is done, and one thing, but maybe we will use it a little bit later. So I want to add the hyperlinks from them, and then we'll navigate to the library, to the details from the library. But at this point, I guess we can keep it as is. Keep it as is. We will change it a little bit later here. Right? Yeah, we'll adjust it a little bit later. For now, that should be fine. No, okay, no, it seems fine. I'm back now. Yeah. So let's maybe add some new features. Here, the first feature maybe let be that we can delete the library from here. So we can delete the library, and no, maybe let's first make it smaller. So maybe don't really like it that it is too wide. So maybe we can start with the maybe more simple. Maybe that we change the one. Let's say this is 30%. So let's be 30%. So yeah, should be smaller now. Yeah, maybe if we have long names, we'll maybe adjust it a little bit later. Maybe I can quickly take a look. Just let's okay, maybe. Okay, I guess that should be fine. In worst case, we can also add the parameter text drop. Text drop. So let me just quickly check the precise syntax. Word drop, yeah, it's called. Word drop. And this will be okay. So that's just in case we have a long name here. so it will go to the, it should only go to the next line. Okay, here we have, yeah, so basically this is how this will look like. So the name will go to the next line. This is how word drop works. If it doesn't, oh no, in this case it will automatically come here. That's right. Alright, so we have this this list here, and as I just said, the next thing for us would be that we can delete this this library. So first of all, what will I do? I will search for the basket in font awesome. So I will search for the basket icon. Actually, I already used it in my projects, so I can quickly take a look on. So quickly take a look on. I can maybe just show the page is not loading. So I'm having some troubles. Okay, seems not. So basket. So you can search for the. Okay, or maybe you can search for delete icon. Trash icon. Okay, so we can maybe use this one. And then we will also add the font awesome styles to our project. So it is loading. So from here I can actually copy paste this HTML fragment. At this point it won't work because I have not linked this font awesome yet. So a moment. Yeah, so things here. And it won't again, it won't work, it shouldn't work because we haven't included this font awesome library yet, so it's link. So let's into this link. Not necessarily link icon, but also I can download it. Actually, I can, but maybe let's just download it. No, I don't need the license here. Oh no, it is require. Okay, let's maybe let's go. I mean, let's just use free wrap. I can do it this way, and as you remember, I just also downloaded this test XML and test HTML example, and we also okay, we didn't have this font awesome here, but as you remember, we have the link to this font awesome. It was here, so this is the link. So maybe let's try to use it. So let's import it to our header template. And let's then see what we have here. Okay, still this still is not shown here. And let's check. So trash item is not shown, but I guess there's one thing. No. One moment, I will quickly have a look on how did I import it. It's so. Too long, I guess. Okay, maybe let's have a break now, and after the break, I hope it will finally be recorded. So let's have 10 minutes break now, and then we'll continue. so let's continue. And we'll, yeah, so first of all, let's maybe try to remove this S, because from my experience it usually didn't work well. And maybe we'll also change this CSS link to another one. So let's maybe check now. No, still doesn't show. That's interesting. Okay, the style is linked. Okay. You can see that we have the style, it shows fine, but what about the icon itself? Moment, let me quickly take a look on. That should also be content here. So maybe let's try. I have another example of trash icon. So that would be this one. Oh, no, so let's quickly take a look on it. No, it's moment. Okay, maybe let's maybe define it as the button. And the button here as well. And let's try it. And as well, let's see what we have. Okay, so we have the button here, but the icon still does not appear here. One moment, so I quickly need to take a look on the example I had. Moment. We'll quickly take a look on it. So yes, that should come from so we have all the CSS icon style. Yeah, we imported this icon style, and now we have this. See, this should trash. And so it seems that it does not load this before icon. That's interesting. So if I add this content, no, it still doesn't show it. Means that we have not added something. Okay, yeah, it seems that we have not added we have not added some things to display this. And so a moment, I will quickly also check one more thing. I'll also use maybe another link for this font also. So this is okay, let's check now. Okay, it still shows that the icon is not available. Okay, one moment, let's maybe try to import this font also manually. So we have this CSS stuff here. Again, we should keep using. Okay, maybe I will take a look before the next session. Right now, maybe let's just use this delete button, because from Java point of view, it won't be different. And before the next lesson, I will check this why the item is not shown here, because it should normally come from the CSS file. But okay, so right now maybe let's replace it using just a simple delete button. And so I will name it as delete and then I will maybe also let's say text align to be right. Maybe see if this helps. Okay, and this alignment looks a little bit better now. So now let's implement the deletion here. So to delete, so first what we need to delete, as you can see that we will have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 delete buttons. So once we press on them, the logic should understand which button is actually pressed. But first of all, again, before we do it, we should also include it under the form. So because if we don't include it in the form, the program will not see that that we actually pressed that we pressed something, and that the data will not be sent to the servlet process, for the servlet file, for the servlet class. So we need to include it under the form, and so that's the first step. And the second step would be that we define the name for the button. So we define the name, and the name being delete, of course, and here we can pass the ID of the library. So we have this these array brackets, square brackets, and we import the ID which will come from the database. So now let's refresh. Let's click inspect element and see that the IDs should be in place. Yeah. So we have the first ID and the second ID, and so on. And we can double check how it will work. So if we press on the delete button, say this one, so it will trigger the post method. You can see here under the network through the post method, and we can see what it sends to the post. It sends this this delete for button, so we can see that this delete for button will be is pressed So you can actually maybe rename it that way. So delete library. Right. So now we can, and now when we press delete, this post method is triggered. Right. So this post method is triggered, and from here we can check if the button is pressed. So let's then check what is actually, which button is pressed. So first I will create the method, so that will be void delete library. Here we will just only provide the ID here. Library ID. So this will be provided here. So this will be provided here, and then we should find out which library to be deleted. So to find it, we can actually we need to parse this string. So one moment. Yeah. So let's then check library ID. So to get library ID, we need to use this string. So we have several options here. Maybe I'll create different method for it, another method. So this will be get library ID delete. Here we'll pass the string. So here we'll pass the string. This will be delete name. So here we'll provide this this name, which was the full name, and from this name I need to get the ID. So this would be, or even more, yeah. So this is, so what will I do? I will firstly then replace string ID string. I will replace first replace the so that will be charge sequence. Let's delete the first part, just name it and delete library. So we'll replace this part. Of course, we'll replace the bracket. Replace it with nothing. Of course, you can try to use regular expressions, that will be fine as well. In this case, more regular expressions, and then you can also replace the closing bracket with nothing, and now I should have the actual ID taken from this name. So that will be integer, pass integer, and this will be ID string. So this is done, and the last thing before we start deleting is that we need to actually understand that this button, the button which contains this CD is pressed. And actually I have I have a better idea here, so maybe we can skip this one and we can have a quick JavaScript code here. So what will I do? I will say delete library here, but what will I do? Firstly, I will say that the type will be button, so it means that it will not submit the form. Yeah, I just got the idea that this will be easy. So now if we press it, won't submit the form. But what will we do? We can, I guess we did it before, we can create a new field, and this field will go to the submit form. So this will be input field, it will be hidden. So this is the usual workaround this way. So we'll have input field which will have the ID, delete ID, and the name will be the same. And this will be the field where we pass the value of the ID to be deleted. So, and the only way we can actually do it, so we'll not see it here because this is hidden and we don't need to show it, but this will be available. Let's keep it right. Okay, maybe let's do it. So location is valid, but in this case that's not so important. Okay, hidden true is this way. That works out. Yeah, again you can see that it is hidden here. It's not available for the user's but it will be available here. So here it's just hidden. So this point on. And in fact this equals true not needed. I'm not sure why then it's complaining, but it's not needed. So we can just simply say hidden. We can also do this way. We can say style display none. So this will be the same. And if it was hidden, or maybe hidden is just shorter way. Okay, so now it will be hidden, and what will I do? I will now do the following way. As you remember, I guess we did it before. So if I say on quick, so here I will trigger JavaScript event on quick. So here I will tab document get element by ID. And here I'll provide ID. The ID will be this one. So it's library not get value but get ID. Get key. And I will say, oh sorry,